Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about unforgettable women. See, there's a difference between the woman a man dates and the woman a man remembers. The one he remembers ain't the loudest, the prettiest. She's not the easiest to get. The one who knew her value before he ever showed up when a woman walks. Like she knows her worth. It shifts the energy in the room. She don't chase validation. She is validation. Needs attention to feel important because she's already important before he even knew her name. You gotta understand something. When a woman knows her worth, everything about her changes. The way she walks, the way she talks, the way she carries herself, it all speaks before she even opens her mouth. Have to beg, she don't have to prove. She don't have to chase. See, a woman who knows her worth don't compete because she understands what she brings to the table. She is the table. And let me tell you, that kind of woman, a man feels it the moment he meets her eyes, in her tone, in her peace, desperate for attention because she already has something deeper, self-respect. Now, it ain't always obvious. When you beg for love, you tell a man he can treat you any kind of way and you'll still be there. You teach him that your love is for sale and all he gotta do is throw you a few crumbs of affection. When you know your worth, you're not impressed by empty promises or cheap compliments. You're impressed by consistency, respect, and effort. That's when a man starts to see you differently. He realizes he can't small around you because you don't tolerate less than real. You make him rise to the occasion. That's not being difficult. That's being deserving. See, there's power in silence, too. A woman who knows her value don't need to argue to prove her point. Remove herself from what disturbs her peace. And that's silence. That's what drives a man crazy. Because while other women are chasing him down, sending long messages, make him understand. She's gone, quiet, unreachable. And that's when he realizes what he lost. A woman who knows her worth doesn't fight to stay where she's not appreciated. Her energy is too precious to waste on confusion. Men remember that kind of woman. They remember the one who didn't fold when he tested her boundaries. They remember the one who said, "No, I don't do disrespect," and meant it. That's the one he can't forget because she made him feel something different. He's used to women who chase. But the one who walked away with her dignity, that's the one he dreams about when it's quiet, because respect lingers longer than beauty ever could. Let's be real. When you carry yourself like the prize, attracting players, and you stop attracting men with purpose. A real man wants a woman who knows her value. It challenges him to show up as his best self. That's why you never lower your standards. to fit into someone else's comfort zone. If he can't meet you there, that's his loss. You don't shrink to be chosen. It ain't always obvious. You stand on decide if he can handle a woman who knows exactly who she is. Once you understand your worth, you'll stop begging for love and start receiving the kind you deserve. You ever notice how the moment a woman starts comparing herself to other women, she starts losing her shine? That's because confidence ain't built on what somebody else got. It's built on knowing what you bring to the table. A confident woman don't sit around wondering why she ain't as tall, as curvy, or as flashy as the next one. Her power is in her presence, not her competition. When she walks in a room, need to announce herself, the energy just shifts. That's real confidence, the kind of woman who catches a man's attention. Without even trying, she radiates something you can't fake: peace. See, comparison is the thief of joy. Looking at another woman's life, her looks, her relationship, her clothes, and before you know it, you forget what makes you special. You forget your own flavor, dimming your light to match somebody else's, and that's where you lose your magic. A woman who walks in confidence, don't need to outshine nobody. She just needs to be comfortable in her own skin. When you love who you are, you glow different. You smile different. You attract different, because confidence ain't about perfection. It's about peace. And let me tell you something, men can feel that. They might not be able to explain it, but they feel it. A man remembers the woman who was sure of herself, the one who didn't compete for attention, the one who wasn't trying to be seen, but somehow he couldn't stop looking. Because when a woman is confident, her looks, it's her energy. It's the way she laughs without fear, the way she talks with passion, the way she moves like she's at home in her own body. That's unforgettable. When you walk in confidence, you give off something rare in today's world: authenticity. You're not pretending, you're not performing, you're not molding yourself into what you think he wants. You're just being you. And that's powerful, because a man can meet 100 women, but he'll only remember the one who made him feel something real, the one who was grounded, the one who was happy before he even came along. That kind of woman stands out without shouting. Also means you don't chase validation. You don't need him to call you beautiful for you to believe it. You already know it. Not because of makeup, because of filters, but because you've learned to love yourself through every flaw and every scar. That's what makes a man respect you. When he sees that you don't need his approval to feel valuable, when you stop comparing and start owning who you are, that's when you truly become unforgettable. You don't have to be like anybody else. Just be the best version of you. And trust me, that's the one he'll never forget. See a big difference between having boundaries and building walls. Some folks think when you set boundaries, you're being cold or hard to love. But that's not it at all. Boundaries are how you teach people to treat you. They're how you protect your peace, your heart, and your dignity. A woman who has boundaries isn't mean. She's just clear. She knows what she'll accept and what she won't. And let me tell you something, when a man meets a woman like that, he might test her at first, but once he realizes she's serious, he adjusts. Because deep down, every real man respects a woman who respects herself. See, when you don't have boundaries, you end up giving too much of yourself away. You start saying yes when you mean no, forgiving things you should have walked away from, losing sleep over somebody who even losing a minute over you. You end up drained, bitter, wondering why love feels so hard. But when you set boundaries, you don't carry that weight. You don't have to beg for love because you've already shown people how to love you right. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. If they're unwilling to meet you there, might not like your boundaries at first, especially if he's used to getting away with stuff. He's used to getting away with stuff. But that's not your problem, baby. That's his wake-up call. Because boundaries don't push the right man away. They filter out the wrong one. The man who's for you will see your standards and say, that's the kind of woman I want. The man who's not will see your strength and call it attitude. But that's okay. Let him go find easy somewhere else. It ain't always obvious. You're not here to make love simple. You're here to, let me tell you something about mystery. It's not about playing games. It's about having a life that doesn't revolve around one person. When a woman is mysterious, she's got something going on outside of him. She's got her goals, her peace, her own rhythm. A mysterious woman ain't hiding anything, she's just not. Everything away too soon. Right there drives a man crazy. Because men love to discover, to chase, to figure you out piece by piece. If you hand him the whole story on day one, you take away the adventure. When you leave a little room for curiosity, you keep his attention without even trying. See, what makes a man remember you isn't how much you say, it's how you make him feel when you're not saying anything. Moment when he wonders what you're doing, where you're going, who's making you laugh. Mystery makes him chase you in his mind. You don't have to be secretive. You just have to have a life that's full. When you're happy, busy, at peace, you automatically become more attractive. Men remember the woman who didn't make him her whole world. The one who could give love without losing herself. The one who had her own glow before he showed up. Now, miserable energy, that'll make a man forget you faster than your name fades from his phone. Nobody wants to come home to complaints, arguments, or constant pressure. Men run from that, but a woman who carries joy, who can laugh even when life ain't perfect, smile, and keep her spirit light. That's the woman he never forgets, because she became his peace, his problem. She gave him something rare, comfort. And when a man finds comfort in a woman's presence, ever really let that go? You got to understand, mystery and misery can't live in the same house. Be unforgettable. If you're always available, always complaining, always explaining, you just need to fall back and let him wonder. You don't have to respond to every text right away to tell him every move you make. Earn that access. Let him realize that your time is valuable. When he sees that you're not desperate for attention, he'll start giving it willingly. Men remember the woman who kept a little distance, who had confidence in her silence, who smiled like she knew a secret, who wasn't always waiting around for him to call. That's the woman who gets in his head. He starts thinking, man, what's she doing? Who's she with? She's not chasing me. And that's when the chase begins. Because mystery creates desire, peace keeps him coming back. You want to be unforgettable. Don't try to fill every silence. Sit in the quiet and realize you're the calm he can't find anywhere else. There's something powerful about a woman who can support a man's vision without losing her own. A woman is rare. She knows how to stand beside him, not behind him, still chase her own dreams while cheering him on. She understands that love ain't about giving up who you are, growing together without shrinking yourself. When a woman can clap for her man and still hustle for her goals, that's unforgettable. She's not just a lover, she's a partner, a teammate, a motivator. And trust me, every real man remembers the woman who believed in him when nobody else did. See, a lot of people think support means sacrificing yourself. But that's not true support. That's self-neglect. Doesn't want a woman who loses her identity trying to build his. He wants someone who inspires him by being her best self. When he sees you chasing your purpose, it lights a fire in him to chase his. That's what makes love powerful. It becomes two people pushing each other to higher levels. You don't lose yourself in love. You evolve in it. Never forgets the woman who made him feel like he do anything. The one who didn't laugh at his dreams, but helped him map them out. The one who saw potential when life was throwing him problems. Kind of woman who gets in a man's heart because she made him believe in himself again. Here's the key. She never stopped believing in herself either. Because when you keep your vision alive, you teach him what real strength looks like. You show him what balance is. Now, make the mistake of thinking they have to choose. Either support him or chase their own dreams. Baby, you can do both for him and still plan your goals. You can encourage him and still build your empire. That's how unforgettable women move. They don't lose their drive because they're in love. They find a way to let love fuel their purpose. The truth is, when a man sees a woman who's got her own thing going, who's passionate, who's focused, he respects that he sees her as someone to grow with, not someone to control. The woman who supports his vision without forgetting hers becomes the heartbeat of his world. She's the one he looks at and says, "That's my rock," because she made him better without breaking herself down. She added value, not weight. And the beauty of that kind of woman is that she never has to beg for appreciation. It shows in the way he treats her, in the way he looks at her, in the way he talks about her when she's not around. That's the kind of love that lasts, the kind of woman that stays in a man's mind after everything else fades. When she helps him build his dreams while still building her own, the woman he'll never forget. Let me tell you something. Feelings are beautiful, are what keep you grounded. Anybody can love when it's easy. The woman who stands on her standards, even when her emotions get messy, that's the one a man never forgets. Because she's not moved by how she feels in the moment. She's moved by what she knows she deserves. A woman with standards don't let her heart talk her into situations her mind already said no to. Capely, but she won't compromise her peace just to keep somebody around. That's strength rare. See, love will make you feel all kinds of ways. It'll have you smiling one minute and questioning your sanity the next. But standards, that's your anchor. That's what keeps you from sinking into something that was never meant for you. When you've got standards, you don't let chemistry blind you to compatibility. You can like him, you can want him, but if he's not treating you right, you can still walk away. You know your value doesn't decrease based on somebody else's inability to see it. Kind of discipline, that's unforgettable. Men remember the woman who made them step up. The one who said, "I like you, I love myself more." The one who didn't lower the bar just because she was afraid of being alone. A man might not admit it, but he respects the woman who won't settle for halfway love. Might not have liked it when you pulled away, but later he'll remember it. Remember that you had standards that required him to grow up if he wanted a seat at your table. And when you have standards, you don't have to explain them. You just live by them. You don't beg for loyalty. You expect it. You don't argue about respect. You require it. You don't chase effort. You match it. That energy speaks for itself. Because a woman who knows her standards doesn't operate out of desperation. She moves out of direction. She knows what she's building. She knows what she deserves. She's not afraid to wait for it. Don't get as twisted. Having standards doesn't mean hard or unapproachable. It just means you've done enough healing to know that peace is more valuable than attention. Still be soft, kind, loving, nurturing. But you're also aware that not everybody deserves access to that side of you. You save that energy for the one who earns it. When a man meets that kind of woman, it hits him different. He realizes she's not like the rest. She's not easily impressed, not easily persuaded, and not easily replaced. Standards separate the unforgettable from the temporary, and when a woman refuses to settle for less than what she's worth, she doesn't just stand out. She becomes the one he'll never forget.